with right here, Israel, but it's a change. What do I do now? They're not there. Who do I call? Who do I question? What do I do? How about that question I had one time? But God says, okay, you still got me. Ask me. I laid there last night. I found out sometimes in the evening and in my work car is the best places to talk. I laid there last night. I said, God, I said, why is it till I get in bed I really can kind of focus on you? He never really answered. I said, and I talked last week. I said, I don't always hear an audible answer from God. I just feel like there's a stirring. And it's like, I finally get relaxed. I have nothing but me and you. I can talk. And there was something last night that really was to me. I needed to put a piece of tablet by my bedside and write it down. Because the stuff I usually come to me, I forget. I'm one of them have to write it down to remember it. If I did, I wrote everything down. I have tablets, stacks of tablets this high, and I couldn't read them because my handwriting sucks and the spelling sucks. I wouldn't even be able to read what I wrote anyways, but I'd have it. But that's where we go back to is, why don't we see Israel praying and say, hey, God, I'm going to send my 11 boys down. Will you protect them? Because we get in the flesh. And usually in the scripture, when Jacob is in the flesh, they call him Jacob. When he's in the spirit, they call him Israel. So I'm kind of confused a little bit on this scenario here because he's being fleshly. I'm worried about my son Benjamin. I don't want my son Benjamin. But he goes, okay. But Judah, which is where the lineage of Christ comes out of, said, hey, if you don't come back, it's on me. But Dad, we have to go get something to eat. You've drug your feet for too long. We could have been there back twice. We could have, what he just said, Dad, goes, quit doing the what ifs. The biggest struggle I had in my life, and you ask my wife, is I always thought, what if? So growing up with my divorce, I always thought, what if about my ex-wife? Is she going to take the kids? Or what if I don't do right with Kinsey and Cole? Or what if I don't do right with Max and Sam? And then we got Gabe. And what if I don't do right? Then she's going to do over, what if? That was my biggest thing. My biggest fear is what if? Why do we do that? Because it's fear. And it's a struggle. And that's what Israel's doing here is, what if they don't come back? What if? Well, here's the thing. If they never went, they're going to die because they're going to die of famine. So God puts us stuff there. Verse 11. Then their father Israel said to them, if it must be so, then do this.